Hello, hello. We should be live. Can everyone hear me? Can you see my screen? Are the sounds good? You should be able to hear some music as well. Just type something in the chat. If everything works, then I'll share the link on Twitter. We'll wait for some people to join, and then we'll dive straight into the charts. Everything works. The volumes are okay. Music not too loud. Seems like it. Awesome. Jack Green, good morning. How are you, man? Good to see you. I hope everyone's doing good after yesterday's sweep, I'll call it. You should be though. And if not, let it be a lesson, I'd say. Alright, we've posted the links on Twitter, so let's wait just a couple more minutes so some people from Twitter can join, and then we'll start. So we'll do the usuals. Start off with Bitcoin. Just give my honest thoughts, trade plans, right? What my plan is in the markets. Feel free to disagree as always. That's how things work. And then we'll do Ethereum, I guess. Maybe Solana. And then after that, after the usual talks, we'll do some requests as well. Okay. After a long time. Yes, sir. Hassam Iskander, good afternoon. Yeah, it's been a while. So we've got a lot to talk about, I guess. Please explain about how you took the top shorts. Pure luck, man. Nah, not pure luck, but there's always a fair portion that is luck, of course. But I'll explain. Missed a dump opportunity. We get one more. We'll see, man. Anything can happen. Cannot DM in Discord. You should be able to. It's not my settings because people are able to send me messages on Discord. So if you can't, it's your own settings. So go check your privacy settings, and then you should be able to DM. I just shorted Fartcoin. That's nice as well, I guess. Hello, Zalekis. Alright, so we waited a couple minutes. We've got 40 people in here. That's a nice start, you know. So let's get started. New partner for the streams. New partner for me that I can offer to you guys. An exchange, obviously, that I use myself. BloFin, okay? They left me with a link you can use, obviously, but also with a nice campaign to start with. A deposit deposit campaign. So there's different amounts obviously that you can deposit, and for everyone, no matter the size you trade, there will be a deposit bonus. Okay, so if you deposit only $100 and you trade a volume of 50,000, you will already get a $30 futures bonus. Okay, so for everyone there's something. So big thanks to BloFin for sponsoring the streams. Go check them out. The link is in the description. As some of you know, not all of you, I also have a Discord where I post all of my trades live. The short you might have seen on Twitter was also called live, for example, in the Discord, with stops, obviously live, no hindsight bullshit. So if you want to check it out, all you have to do is sign up on BloFin using the link in the description, make a deposit, and trade for a bit. Okay, so that's all I'm asking. Then you don't have to send any money to me directly. Yeah, if you're in the markets, you obviously want to learn more, you want to trade, so you might as well do it under my link, and then I'll make sure to assist you in the best way I can. All right, so thanks to BloFin again. If you enjoyed the stream, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I guess some of you here are new, so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube yet, make sure to do so. That helps me a lot to grow on YouTube as well. And leave a like. If you have any questions during the stream, feel free to comment those in the chat, and then I'll try to answer as many as possible. Requests, so just coin tickers, please save them until the end, until I say so. We will do some requests, but keep them for you for now. Yes, Burke, the Discord is all free. Like I just said, all you have to do is just make an account on BloFin and make a deposit. All right. So with that being said, let's dive into the charts. Starting with Bitcoin, right? So we're gonna cover like all the time frames. We'll start on the higher time frames. We're not gonna talk fundamentals. We're TA traders, technical analysis. So that's what we're gonna focus on. Purely the charts, right? So let's dive into it. Starting on the monthly, right? So we've had the bottom was created on the FTX collapse, right? There we nuked heavily, and that created the bottom. From there, we've seen some accumulation. The bottom range broke out, some more sideways price action, swept some lows, and then saw the real big move, right, to the upside and straight into new all-time highs, and then stalled a bit after initially making the first new all-time high at 74k approximately, built up a new range, right, with a range high around here, range low around here, swept the lows, right, which meant the liquidity draw was on the highs, and as you can see, straight continuation to the upside, a new big breakout that sent Bitcoin straight into 100Ks with an all-time high currently of $110,000. Now, for the past couple weeks, we've once again stalled a bit, just like we did within this range. And now the question on everyone's minds, probably at least, is whether this current range right here is a reaccumulation range, a continuation range, whatever you want to call it, that sends us to new all-time highs, or is it a distribution range that will lead to lower prices? And yeah, obviously nobody knows the answer. That's always the same, but we can get some clues on which scenario is more likely, right? And for that, we'll draw some levels and see where we're currently trading at. So on the monthly, only real important level that stands out to me would be this monthly low. And why? Because obviously on in an upside trend, what you're very often gonna see is a monthly low being put in. Then on the next monthly candle, you're gonna sweep that low and then see continuation to the upside. Okay, yeah, a good example is right here, for example. Again, no matter how you want to call it, bullish swing failure pattern, a sweep, blah blah blah. Same thing down here, sweep, grab liquidity, right? Stop the people out who put their stops below that previous monthly low, and especially because it's a monthly candle, as you're gonna see on the lower time frames, those lows on the monthly. So on the monthly, they're right next to each other. But if you're going to the 4 hour, you're gonna see that they're a pretty damn long way apart from each other. So all the people who've been longing into this wick or longing in here, or longing on this dip, right? Doesn't matter. There is gonna be a lot of stops below here, and what you very often then get would be a liquidation spike, a sweep of the lows, grab liquidity below the low, stop those people out, and then rip it into the initial direction and squeeze the shorts. Okay, and that's something similar that we've seen here. And that's also the reason why I think that we could already have a low in. If this low right here wouldn't have swept the low right here, right? So we would have made an equal low. There would have been a ton of liquidity below this level, right? Still, and then I'd feel less comfortable in thinking that the low would be in. Okay, but right now liquidity below here has already been taken. We've swept all lows that we could have swept on yesterday's move, right? Saw a huge buyback, okay, and yeah, closed very strong on the daily, closed in the green. So that gives me the idea, do we need to revisit these fairly I will not say equal lows, but they're pretty damn close to each other. Do we need to revisit those? Well, in my opinion, not, because this low has swept major liquidity below here, which in my opinion would be enough. Now, ideally, what you want to see, if a scenario like this were to play out, well, then you just want to see continuation to the upside or some ranging followed by continuation to the upside. Okay, and what's the maximum that I would want to see this one go? That would be somewhere around here. Okay, I could see us I could see a scenario where moving to all-time highs from here would be too easy, and I think it is, right? Very rarely you're gonna see a V reversal on Bitcoin, something like this, and then just straight into new all-time highs. What's way more likely is a dump, all right, a V recovery, but into the first resistance, into the first supply area, and then a lot more fuckery, another dip, another push at the highs that gets rejected, everyone losing their minds, people getting chopped up, and then ultimately the breakout higher. Okay, so a scenario like that, in my opinion, would be way more likely than to just move straight into new all-time highs from here. And what would be the level I would watch, right, would be this gray area, which would be supply from here, sideways price action that led to the downside, but then smashed right back above, right? That's gonna be an important level, important high volume area. And as you can see on the lower time frames, let's take the hourly, you're gonna see that it had some sideways price action here as well. Okay, so any dip to the downside, I think this area is a great area to load up on longs. And I don't think we really need to get back to the low that we made yesterday. Another thing that I really like using whenever you pumped straight from the bottom and made a lower high is obviously OTE, from the low to the high. And as you can see, this OTE area, so what does OTE mean? The 0.62 fib level and the 0.79 fib level. Then if you draw the mid-range between those two levels, so just the right in the middle of those two levels, comes the 0.705 level, which we call the OTE, or the optimal trade entry. And that has proven itself over and over again to be a very important level. So that's also a level you want to keep an eye on here. So any dips we get in the coming days, I'll keep an eye on this area for longs. Let's actually see OTE. Yeah, see. Guess where we topped? In one swing from the high to the low, you draw your OTE, right? Where do you look for shorts, or where is the first resistance in order for us to break above, in order for us to move to all-time highs? OTE area. And as you can see, the level, yeah, that's exactly where we topped, right? And you can say it's easy in hindsight, but I draw these levels all of the time. And yeah, they're very effective. So if you haven't checked this out, make sure you do so. Let's actually keep the OTE. Go like this. Okay. So, like I said, unlikely we move straight to new all-time highs, right? So where would I be looking for a potential dip, if we get any? But yeah, by the look of things, I think we will get at least a little bit more downside, as you can see. That would be sub 97k. Okay, ideally sweep this low, something like this, for example, quick wick, boom, and then that can be your first day trade, long invalidation below OTE, and you target simply the high up here, take off half there, then move your stops break even, target all-time highs with the rest of it, just in case. Okay, something like that. Now what if this area that I marked here, what if it doesn't hold, right, and we slip right through? Well, then obviously I think we see a bit lower, and where will be the area that I will keep an eye on? Well, obviously the first major point of liquidity, which is now still this low right here that we front ran yesterday, but I explained I don't think we need to sweep it, but if we slip through this gray area and OTE, I do think we'll be heading for this low, and at that point I don't think we're gonna leave all of these lows on the lower time frames right here. Okay, so as you can see, quite a bit of liquidity gonna be resting there as well. So at that point, I'd be waiting for an aggressive spike. But like I said, I'd be looking for an aggressive spike and a liquidation cascade to the downside before I buy. But since we've seen that yesterday, I don't think that we're gonna get another one. Anything's possible, and I don't like saying this is not gonna happen, and I am not gonna say it. But yeah, in my opinion, it's very unlikely. But if we do so, right, and we slip through all of this, at that point, I will be hands off and just wait until we get an aggressive spike below all of these lows. If it's continuous downside, right, with small bounces and then a lower low and a small bounce and lower low, that would be way worse than, for example, what we've seen yesterday. That's also one of the reasons why I quite like what I'm seeing here on Bitcoin right now, and why I'm cautiously bullish, because we saw an aggressive wick to the downside, a lot of liquidations, and a straight buyback on Bitcoin, right? So those are some of the reasons why I think we might actually be on our way to new all-time highs. I mean, it's not going to be straight up, but what I think here is the most likely something like this, a bounce again, some chop, maybe sweep some highs, maybe sweep some lows, and then ultimately, yeah, another attempt at all-time highs, maybe sweep all of this liquidity and put in another trap, right? everyone getting excited again at the highs, nuke it again, just to continue range for a bit again, and then slowly make our way back to the highs and then accelerate into a real breakout, and then we send it to new highs. Okay, so where would I be targeting then? So for me personally, I don't think that the cycle top is in, like if that's a question you might have. I think it's not. I think unless we break structure like on the weekly and we confirm that we've broken down of the range out of this, until then I think that continuation out of this range will be bullish and to the upside. If on the other hand we break below here and close the weekly below here, I will be very cautious simply until we break back inside this range. And until then, I'll just play the range, look for shorts on the retest, target our former range levels here, right? And I could see us drop all the way back to 70k, and there would be nothing wrong with it, right? At least for your trading, trade what you see, not what you want to see. Obviously for our spot backs, everyone wants to see us go to 150k, but if the chart is telling us something differently, simply trade it, you know. That's why there's a big difference between trading and between investing and holding spot. I also have my spot backs and I hope we go way higher, but those spot backs aren't going anywhere, right? They're for a long term. I am targeting higher with them. I sold a part of it above 100k, above 105k even. So that's out, and the other part I'm holding for way higher. Okay, so that spot amount is not going anywhere, and in the meantime we just trade the chart and trade what we see. Okay, so like I said, as long as this range holds, I do think ultimately we're going to see way higher on Bitcoin. And what am I gonna focus on? Mostly probably just towards the end of this year, like just follow the cycles, you know. I'm gonna pay a lot of attention to that, and by the end of the year I'm definitely gonna be de-risking on everything, especially on some lower market cap things that I currently hold. Most of the things I hold apart from Bitcoin are just high time frame trades. So anyways, but I'll be out of those as well then. All right, so any questions on Bitcoin? Let me catch up with the chat quickly. New follower and subscriber. Let's go, man. Where are you from? I'm from Brussels in Belgium. Is there an amount needed to deposit? $200 is the minimum. Will you look to add spots 95, 96 area? Not really, because my spot backs are fully loaded still. It's just the amount that I've added right before the American election, before Trump got elected. I deposited more euros from the bank, and that was like from the 70k breakout, right? I played this really nicely from 70k area to 105, and then just recently, actually, well, not recently, but during these spikes, I took out that amount again, so that's back to the bank now. And apart from that, I'm just holding what I had previously. So am I looking to add? Not really. If I wasn't fully exposed to Bitcoin, where would I add? Honestly, I would already start adding, and then I'd just put orders all the way here, probably with half, and then all the way here as well, and then maybe just in case we go for 70k, but personally I don't see it yet. What type of trades do you take? Swing. Yeah, also swing, but I'd say most of my trades on Bitcoin are quick in and outs, and on alts as well, actually. Um, when I have conviction in the high time frames on alts, mostly I just buy spot. Um, yeah, because you don't have to worry about funding and stuff as well, but it's also just easier to hold on to it. But yeah, as for trades, I mostly trade on the 4-hour chart, and I'm mostly out within a day or two. Cannot DM you. It's your settings, man. On Discord, you should be able to DM me. I mean, I'm sure of it, so it's your settings. Mine are fine. What about your alt spot bags? This time has been different. I've held Ethereum, Solana, and I recently added Litecoin, but Litecoin is mostly for a trade. I'll cover Litecoin as well after this. But apart from those, I don't hold. Oh, and Doggy. That's also one I hold. But apart from those, I don't really hold altcoins. I do have some memes, obviously, but I don't see that as holding. That's just for the enjoyment more, you know. So yeah. Teach us simple scalping tools to use. There is none, man. Nothing in the game is simple. Hello, I'm late. Hello, late. Do you hold Celestia? Nah, I used to, but gave up on it. Right, let's take a look at Ethereum, because that one's interesting, isn't it? Let's see. Let's also start clean, actually. So, Ethereum. I'm sure a lot of you simply hate Ethereum, and I mean, I sometimes do as well. But because yeah, it's been way disappointing compared to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin broke out of its all-time high, made a new range, broke out again into 100k, made way higher all-time highs, all while Ethereum is still sitting at prices that we've seen in 21 and 22. So I understand the frustrations. Is it worth still paying attention? In my opinion, yes, and I personally still believe in it. But do I understand people giving up on it? Yeah, for sure, you know. I'm personally not giving up on it yet. Well, yet I don't think I will. If it dies, like, I'll just lose my money I put in, I guess. But personally, I still see us break out of this, and I still see us go for 6, 7, maybe even 10k. So let me explain why. So let's start off on the monthly, I'd say. Some levels to mark out. The huge range that we've traded in, honestly, from 2021 all the way until now, is gonna be this one. Why this one? Right, we've seen the 2021 bull run all the way until Ethereum hit 4.4k, and that's where we put in a top, ugly downside candle, and an ugly close to the downside. Okay, that confirms that this is gonna be range high, this is gonna be a range low. What confirms it even more is that from these lows, yeah, we initially swept the lows, but I'm just gonna see this as equal lows, right? From these lows, we've moved all the way back up to range highs, but unfortunately, no continuation to the upside. Instead, we swept the highs, broke back below, closed some candles below, retested supply, and sold off again, resulting ultimately into downside all the way below range low. and that's where reaccumulation started. Okay, reaccumulation with the low, being sub 1000, right, and the high around 2000. So a $1,000 range, which lasted for, let's check, almost 500 days, right? From there, right, we broke out of the range, started trending a little again, right? We tried breaking out here, but unfortunately instantly closed back inside. That was your signal. Wasn't a real breakout yet, right? More chop, more ugly downside, swept some lows again, and then broke out again, and then we saw continuation, lower time frame consolidation, and then the real run, not to new highs unfortunately, but this was a really nice rally. Okay, we caught that as well, by the way, and our first TP for Ethereum actually was key liquidity above here into supply. You can go ahead and check on my Twitter, it's all public. This high into this supply was my first target for the Ethereum that I bought down here, and that played out beautifully. Why was I targeting this? Well, basically this was the sideways price action that led to all of the downsides, telling us that this was supply right above a key high on Ethereum, right? So that was the main reasoning for that. Pumped in there, ugly rejection, right? So that was basically the lost resistance before new all-time highs. Rejected, right? Tried again, rejected, broke all the way down below here, and retested some lower time frame consolidation down here, along with, like, if this wouldn't have smashed back above here, my next target for Ethereum would have been all of these lows into the accumulation that we've seen right here. But that didn't happen. Instead, we ranged for a bit right down here, but smashed back above the range lows here. That was your signal that we wanted higher. What was the target there? Well, these highs here. Unfortunately, we front ran those. Well, unfortunately, we did, because yeah, I think a lot of people would have TP'd a bit there. But also not unfortunately, because as you guys know, equal highs means more liquidity to the upside, right? So is that a bad thing? Well, in my opinion, not. But yeah, obviously, as we've seen, huge downside again, and a massive wick on Ethereum to the downside. Let's clean up the chart a little bit because it's getting a little messy. So, talking back about that range, we're gonna mark out those levels as well. Magnet. So this as the range highs. So let's actually draw them out as real ranges. Like this. And then the second would be like this. Okay, and as you can see, those levels have been pivotal. Yeah, those levels have been pivotal. For example, the high time frame mid-range right here, as you can see, right here, resistance, support right here, broke below, ranged, broke back above, support, right? Initially, so what's more important now? This one's in the way a bit. So initially, we've held nicely on the 2021 weekly range mean, right? From here and then also from here. But now, last week we broke below, and as you can see, ugly cascade to the downside. But what does that tell you? That level is gonna be pivotal. So for me, Ethereum is all about smashing back above this level. if we manage to do so, I think we're on our way to 6, 7, maybe 10k. But yeah, until then, could still do something like this, reject and see a lot lower, right? But what's important there, and why do I think that we might have a low in? Well, just like with Bitcoin, because of the way that we traded yesterday, because of the way that we liquidated all of those long positions, I feel like everyone who was into the markets, everyone who was long got stopped out yesterday, and that's a really good thing, right? Like I said, if you're gonna slowly move lower, right? Lower lows and then a small bounce and lower low again, small bounce. That's way more bearish than just getting it over with and just smashing through everything and liquidating everyone, right? And it's bad, you know. I saw some really heavy stories yesterday on the timeline about people getting liquidated, people with a lot of money as well. And I don't get it personally, how they still manage to risk it all. But I guess that's where they got their money initially, right? So if I can give you one tip, like for me, I've been in the game for years, and the only thing that kept me in this game is risk management and not pushing too much, even when the time is right. So even in bull markets, you could say everything's going up, you know. It's so unlikely that you're gonna get stopped out of every trade until you get some candles like these, right? And then you're done, and you're not coming back. So yeah, be careful. But anyways, for Ethereum, so that's the reason, right? Why I think that the low might be in, because of the way that this candle formed. Very aggressive, swept key liquidity as well, right? Because this was the sideways range that led to the break back inside here, and ultimately, yeah, it was, you could call it a new high, could call it a sweep, but doesn't really matter. It's more about the context. So this was that range, and as you can see, we swept nicely below all of these lows. So anyone putting their stops there got stopped out. Huge buyback, and now we're here. So same thing like with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a little bit cleaner to me, but in my opinion, like if you still believe in Ethereum, you could put your stop below the low, because if it's not gonna hold this low, I don't really know what will, honestly. If it's gonna go below this low again, yeah, obviously it will be below here as well, and at that point I'd say the next logical level would be here. So that could be something as well, where we do this and then, but like I said, the way we did this, I think that would be enough. So probably then, if that's correct and Bitcoin does the same thing, and remember that gray area, Ethereum could do something similar, where it does put in a higher low somewhere here. Like I said, it's less clean, maybe the area right here, right? Who knows, less clean, but in my opinion, stops below here should be safe for a move to new all-time highs. But the level that's gonna be key, remember, right here. So I personally am in Ethereum longs. I chose Ethereum above Bitcoin, and this was the setup I took yesterday, posted it live on Twitter as well. So far it's playing out nicely, but like, I don't like, I mean, getting ahead of things, right? Or how do you say it? Getting clout when things haven't really moved. Nothing happened yet, right? I'll be happy if we retest like 4K or something. Until then, it's just pure chop. What are the closest key levels to keep an eye on, in my opinion? Local highs and local lows. Let's go to the hourly. That would be this high. into the level I just spoke about. Weekly range mean lining up with this key level, high time frame. So a sweep of that, boom, and a break back below would be a bad thing and likely lead to some lows. If we see some lows first, here and here, maybe this one even, right? Something like this, and we see strength, that could be your long trigger towards here. Above here, then we can start talking about 4K. All right, clear for everyone? Like I said, it's just my thoughts. Feel free to disagree. Leave a like, by the way. We're at 26 likes with 80 people watching. Let's get them to 50 at least, guys. Subscribe also if you haven't already. Helps me a lot to grow. Good analysis. Thanks, man. Trying my best, you know. We'll try to be more active, you know, on YouTube as well. I feel like a lot of you enjoy the streams and I enjoy them as well, you know. So at least one stream a week from now on, but maybe we try again to do 2 streams, but we'll start with 1. Maybe I'll do something like with a private stream for the people in Discord. Still thinking about it. We'll see. So Litecoin next. So yeah, I was bullish up here and was in swing longs. Luckily, I closed them at break even before the carnage happened. Oh yeah, I still have to talk about my short on Bitcoin, but not sure if it's that. Yeah, we'll see. I'll start with Litecoin. So I was bullish up here, but then closed all of my longs because something felt wrong with Bitcoin. I'll explain why I took the shorts, but it's pretty much always the same. When everyone's calling higher, when everyone's super bullish, and you're trading at key supply, the lost resistance that you have to break before trading at new all-time highs, that's always, let's actually do that first because it's important. That's always a good time to be cautious. By the way, I didn't catch this downside, right? I called this downside from here. I traded this and this and this until here, until the last real downside candle. So I could have called a lot more, but still played it beautifully, you know. So reasoning why I took that one was what was the previous aggressive downside that we saw on Bitcoin before we traded here, right? Because this didn't happen before. What was the first the previous aggressive downside on Bitcoin? I think we can all agree it's this, right? Those were some very aggressive candles to the downside. So if we take a look, what was the origin of these candles? That's gonna be this sideways price action, okay? So what stood out to me was how compressed this sideways price action was, and that there was some key highs resting all above this price action right here. You see? So I felt like usually when you see aggressive downside from sideways price action, it's gonna be a bit bigger, right? And usually it's gonna do this, right? Sweep the highs, range a bit, and then break down. While here, it did this, built up liquidity, still a lot of stops, and then it broke down, telling me that I felt like there was gonna be still a lot of people who caught the downside putting their stops above here, right? And what happened then? From the aggressive downside, we bounced, and guess what? We took out the highs that were resting right above this area. So right here. Took out those highs, and then along with that, right? Obviously, it's never alone, never dead on its own, but together with that, we were trading, we were coming into key high time frame resistance. If we draw our range levels, that's beautifully actually, if you take this level. Anyways, doesn't really matter. Range high was already swept, right? A sideways price action that led to this lower time frame action, aggressive downside, came back to the highs, took out those highs into still the sideways price action that led to this breakdown, right? And that, together with the sentiment, everyone was euphoric, everyone was calling higher. I felt like it was time to be cautious. That's why I took the short up there. The risk reward was there, also important. Like, I took it initially pretty badly. Yeah, I shorted right here. Put my stop above these highs. I think this was the setup. Well, it was a bit lower the targets. So this was the setup. Why? Because low time frame price action here, sideways, swept, right, downside, and then I thought retest, right, of sideways price action, so supply, retest, downside. And then what happened? Pumped straight from my entry, but was waiting for invalidation because this could still cap price. And look at what happened then. Boom, 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 and continuation to the downside. So it's always whenever price comes into the last key resistance, right, before your all-time highs, then I'm personally gonna be cautious. If the risk reward is there, the probability is there, right, it's always nice. And even for me, right, I was still scared to take the setup. That's why I said I went half risk with this one. I shouldn't have. It was a beautiful setup, but I still went half risk because it is scary, you know, when everyone's calling higher and the market seems so bullish, and things keep going up. But even then, focus on the chart, remove those emotions, sorry, and that's how it played out. So clear for everyone. It's not to brag or anything that I caught it, but got some questions, and I still feel like it's nice to explain, you know. Looking historically, do you think we can go to 71% on Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin dominance is a meme, in my opinion. I never used it, and I never will. I never will understand people who do. So yeah. There was a beautiful weekly plus 4 hour short a couple of days ago with a good risk reward. Okay. How long was the trade open? Not long. Like 2 days, maybe not even a day or so. I also was aggressive in profit taking, you know. I think my first TP was here already, and then just took all of the lows as take profits. Right? Chart color. Here's the chart colors. It's just all black and then white and gray. Okay, so let's do Litecoin now. And then I guess we'll come to an end. We've covered a lot. We won't be doing any requests today, I guess. But let's do Litecoin. So I was bullish up here, as I said initially, and was long on some other altcoins as well. But then I took a look at Bitcoin and I felt like, nah, you know, everyone's in longs, everyone's bullish. Bitcoin is looking, nah. So I closed it at break even and then this happened, but I also bought spot up here. So I'm down, what is it? 20% on my spot. But anyways, my target was a lot higher. But let's take a look at the chart, you know. Big ass range from back in 2021, just like Ethereum, just like XRP, you know. High, low, mid-range proven to be pivotal, and then a huge accumulation range all the way from back in 2022 all the way until until December 24, right, where we basically broke out of the range, right? And now the question on everyone's minds is was this a real breakout? Because because we've basically closed back inside. Well, I thought up here it wasn't, because on the lower time frames, as you can see, we've held the retest nicely right here, and then boom, saw another break in market structure here, and then in my opinion retest, another sweep, and I wanted to see continuation to the upside. Unfortunately, we didn't see that, but what did we see now after yesterday's moves again? Aggressive sweep of all of the lows. All of the liquidity has been taken, bumped back inside the range. So what you want to see here now is price stalling, right? Ranging a bit, maybe a low, maybe a high, right? And then ultimately climbing back up and hopefully see the squeeze that I was looking for. What was I looking for? Well, if you compare the look of XRP when it was still trading down here, right, long ass accumulation range, and then boom, this is not Bitstamp, that should have more, yeah. Ripple is looking good as well, by the way. Swept previous month's low. Yeah, crazy. Anyways, right, so big ass accumulation range, and then once it breaks out, it just keeps on going. And I hope, like, they're both Dino coins, I hope Litecoin is up to something similar. If you just take a look at it on a clean chart, right, I mean, this doesn't look bad. Long ass accumulation, breakout, and then retest, range low, range high, range lows now swept, range highs unswept. So in my opinion, this has the potential to do some crazy things. So I think it's worth holding some spot, and that's the reason why I bought it back. And it doesn't matter if I bought it up here or I bought it right now, if I'm targeting like $400 or something. Obviously I will take profit on the way if this happens, but let's see, you know. Right, I think that's gonna be it for today. So I hope everyone enjoyed the first live stream of many more to come, together in partnership with BloFin. So if you enjoyed and you want to see more of my work, I have a Discord where I post all of my trades live. Use the link in the description, make an account on BloFin, make a deposit and trade a bit on it, and you get free access to my Discord group. All right, leave a like if you enjoyed the stream, subscribe to my YouTube if you want to be notified when I go live next time. And yeah, good luck in the markets. See you next time. Bye.